How to be less lonely.
While policymakers struggle to address loneliness as a social issue, there are things we can do as individuals to help us feel less lonely individually. Here are a few evidence-based tips to help you feel less alone in this cold, cold world.
Join groups.
Research shows that it's far more useful to tackle feelings of loneliness by pursuing social groups rather than one-on-one interactions. For example, researchers have found that one-on-one visits to the lonely elderly don't work very well, whereas group discussions do. This is important because most of us usually try to attack our loneliness by reaching out to individuals. We imagine that the problem is that we don't have more one-on-one interactions in our life when really, loneliness seems to be more driven by group affiliations. What is the easiest way to join a group? Find an activity. The more participatory and active the group, the better. Research found, for example, classes involving things such as dancing, swimming, gymnastics, etc. decrease loneliness more than classes where everyone sat around twiddling their thumbs and talking about stuff. So, find a crowd. Find an activity.
Improve social skills.
Turns out it's not enough to simply show up. You also need to be able to connect with people. If loneliness is a function of both the quality and quantity of our social interactions, group activities can take care of the quantity, but our social skills are necessary to take care of the quality. If you're not able to connect easily with others, if you struggle to have conversations, to get to know people, to reveal details about yourself, it doesn't matter how many people you talk to, you're going to come away feeling unfulfilled.
Support others.
Many people approach their social interactions in terms of what they get from them. They think, what will this person do for me? How can I feel better from this social interaction? This backfires. Your selfish intentions bleed through into your words and actions, and people sense that you're a bit of a conceited self-interested. Instead, approach social interactions with the mindset of, what can I give this person? How can I make them feel better? Ultimately, people like being around people who make them feel good. If you focus on making the other person feel good rather than yourself, you stand a better chance of making a strong connection with the person. What's amazing about this giving mindset is that we tend to find more value and happiness in interactions where we give more. It's like that old cliche, you get what you give. Well, it's true. The more we give to others, the more satisfied and loved we tend to feel ourselves.
Find happiness in solitude.
I mentioned a survey that found more young people report experiencing loneliness than older people. This surprised me at first. But then the researchers explained why. Almost 50% reported that loneliness could be positive, with the reasons given for this including opportunities for personal growth, the enjoyment of being alone, and knowledge that the feeling would pass. It turned out that older people weren't less isolated than younger people. They were more comfortable with the isolation. This is going to sound counterintuitive, but it's perhaps the most important point of all. Loneliness is not just a function of your social interactions, but it's also a function of your attitude towards your social interactions. You can feel intensely lonely despite spending all day, every day with other people. You can feel completely satisfied spending months alone. Loneliness and solitude are not the same thing. One can happen without the other. Much of your sense of loneliness stems from your mindset about your own solitude. Solitude can be great. It can be enlightening. It can be freeing. After all, there's no one to impress. Maybe the key to combating loneliness as a society is not so much to reduce it, but to embrace and learn from it. After all, it's easiest to connect with others when you feel most connected with yourself.
And finally, there are some things not to do.
Do not try to do everything at once, set small targets that you can easily achieve. Do not focus on the things you cannot change, focus your time and energy into helping yourself feel better. Try not to compare yourself to others. On social media, you usually only see things people want to share. Try not to tell yourself that you're alone. Many people feel lonely at some point in their life and support is available. Try not to use alcohol, cigarettes, gambling, or drugs to relieve loneliness. These can all contribute to poor mental health.
Make sure to watch the following parts for a great collection of tips on the ways to feel less lonely.